Welcome to the Ohio Fly Tying Guild. I'm Gary Begley, and the two clubs that helped make this happen, names are going to be up there, and that way I can get straight to the flies. So here we go. First one, Scud pattern. You can use any common Scud hook. I kind of like this one. It's Ahrex. It's FW527 and size 12 I'm using, but you can see the huge gape it's got, the huge gaps, hook gap. And I've got some lead wire. I've got 20,000 lead wire. You find them in a lot of different colors: orange, pink, light green, gray. From what I understand, the orange ones are dead and the pink ones are mating or carrying eggs. I've never heard any evidence that the fish zero in on a particular color. The thread base for my tail. And the tail, I've got some fibers I'm going to get from a tail feather from a Hungarian partridge. And what I'm going to do is get about 1/4 of an inch along the rachis, get the tips lined up, pull feather away, as opposed to the barbs. Better chance of keeping the tips lined up. I don't want much of a tail here. Now I'll get my rib tied in, which I'm using monofilament. This technique, sliding that under, take a couple wraps and pull this. Al and Gretchen Beatty got this in their article on the newest flag tire. Thanks to Al and Gretchen. So there's my rib ready to go. If I tie down on the bottom, that way when I go to wrap this, I can either wrap it forward or counter wrap it, and that way it doesn't foul the tail. Scud back. I'm going to use for the back of the fly. Back out a little bit. Caroline product Scud back. You can get an 1/8 inch width or 1/4 inch. There is a front and a back, kind of side down. That way when I pull it over, it'll have the shiny spot. Now this stuff is very slippery. I like to put it way back, way down the hook shank. I'll keep it from pulling out. This fly needs to be much larger diameter in the center, thinner on the front and the rear section. So I'm going to attempt to build the taper on the hook, or on the thread, pardon me. larger diameter there. Now I'm going to start thinning this noodle down. The front portion will be gradually tapering down to smaller diameter. All right, time for the antenna. I'm going to put on a small base of thread for the antenna. Now the antenna I'm going to use, you could use just about anything, any type of feather as you wish. I'm going to use some Coq de Leon. I'm going to have about 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, and I'm not going to count. Turn this around. My thread spun. There's a simulation of antenna. And you pull the scud back over, and then we'll wrap the rib. Now this, you can see how this stuff is really slippery, it really slides around. So I got an idea while I was practicing this pattern. Put a little dubbing wax on the scud back. I get the right side facing upward. There we go. I'll just take some of the dubbing wax. It doesn't eliminate the slipping and sliding around, but it sure does help. Get my thread counterclockwise. And again, this is slippery. I like to pull it back over itself. Take 2 or 3 wraps or more over it that way. That extra cut off. I'm going to put a foot finish in there to help secure everything. Get that pulled good and tight. I found a wrap the rib. Keep my thread out of the way. Things go smoother. I really don't think it matters with this fly if we're counter wrapping or wrapping the other direction. Some apple pliers. Pass that behind it, pass it behind again. that cut off as tight as I can. It fits so it doesn't go anywhere, and then put finish. Almost done, but not quite. I like to rough up the dubbing. Idea being it's an attempt to simulate legs. But there's a gold version of a scud.
Hey, Gary,
Yes.
what on the rib there? You talking? Well, I don't know, 3/4X, or do you know?
What
If
that is
you wouldn't want it to be too big, I wouldn't think.
was the Bass Pro many, many years ago, and bought this stuff. I'm sure that's a lifetime supply, and it's 4 pound, 4 pound.
Okay, thank you.
Um, I measured it. Was it somebody might ask, and
Mhm.
it's 8 thousandths of an inch. It's a cow bird pattern, apparently from the late 1950s. And man's last name is Bird, so it's a bird's nest. I'm going to use a 1260. It says curved hook, and it is very, very slightly. A straight hook, straight shank hook is going to work just fine. And I've got Cyclops beads, copper, 8th inch to match the hook size. And I've got some 25 thousandths wire, lead wire, in order to, well, it's going to supply some more weight, but it's also shoved up inside the bead to solidify the bead, keep it from flopping around. Brown uni thread. This fly is very easy to tie. It's a very quick tie. The thread dam built there, so it keeps the lead from sliding around. So the thread base for the tail. Come back up. And the tail, the pattern calls for bronze mallard, which I did have a few. In case you don't know what that looks like. And similar procedure to the first fly as far as getting the tail. I'm just going to pull off about a 1/4 inch of the barbs. And this pattern, actually, I got this pattern from Dave Hughes' book, Nymphs. Many, many nymph patterns. And it has a very long tail. And I've seen it in a couple other spots, a couple other places. And for a nymph type fly, it's a very long tail. Line this down well along the hook shank. And we just need to dub the rear section of the body. Let's put a piece of wire in first for a rib. Same procedure. Lift this up, trap it there. Let thread torque take it around to the bottom of the hook shank. We got one step. Need to pull that. Need to pull that. That looks better. Piece of my rib wire sticking up. Here we go. Get rid of that. And dubbing. Possum. I think I said possum on the first fly. I did. I was using uh, Sow Scud dubbing for the first fly. I'm pretty sure I said possum. Apologize for that. The abdomen section of the fly. Which is a lighter color than what the thorax is going to be. Somewhat of a taper. We'll go just a little bit further for light dubbing. There we go. Darker color for the thorax area. It needs to be larger diameter. I should probably wrap my rib first. I will wrap my rib first. Get my hackle pliers back out. That. Get the thorax section. Just a little bit more. Very buggy fly. I like buggy fly. thorax section, I really want to get the dubbing roughed up. A couple of real light hairs in there. So there's the build version of a bird's nest. Have any of you fished a scud pattern for trout? Well, I'll recommend it because I really do believe in that. Now, Tim said nice flies in the chat. Appreciate that. All right. I'll get rid of this recording. Yes.
Yeah, they went and changed a few things in this Zoom meeting. Can't push on the space bar to talk anymore. Anyway, on the scud, you ever mix the colors on the backing and the body?
Yes. Well, mix the colors of the dubbing.
No, like you got a green body with an orange back on it or something?
No, I have tied. Let me show you the flies I have tied. There we go. Better spotlight myself again. I got a variety of colors tied. Have a gray, green, tan, orange, and pink. But as far as mixing colors, no.
Okay.
Never tried that. Never tried that. Would possibly give the fish some variety that they might appreciate.
You had better luck with one over another?
I like the olive or green, light green. Of course, I'm usually fishing in the woods somewhere, so.
If you don't have scud back, you can always use a plastic, any sort of plastic, like the pack that scud back is in.
Yep.
You can use that as plastic as a scud bag.
Yep, sure could. Yeah, there's a lot of different materials you could use. And of course, if you're going to use, like the plastic bag is clear, that'll let color shine through. That, and what's the other product? Fin skin. You could use that. That's similar. Of course, you got to cut it yourself, but that way you have the availability of cutting it the exact thickness you want.
What about Swiss straw?
Swiss straw?
Yeah.
Would work. I would think it would be much more vulnerable to rocks and fish's teeth and such. Of course, you can put a little UV across the top of it and cure that problem. Goodness, I haven't used any Swiss straw in quite a few years. That's everything I have planned for this evening. Thank you guys for showing up and checking in with us, and hopefully I'll see you next month.